Hello everyone, this is lecture 11 for the electricity and magnetism. In the last lecture we were discussing about the bound charges and we discussed some examples. So let's take one more example. A dielectric cube of side A centered at the origin carries a polarization P, that is Kr. Find bound charges. So this time a cube type structure is given to us and we need to find the bound charges. So this symmetry can be solved very easily in the Cartesian. That's why we have taken R as x cap, y cap and z cap. So we know the volume bound charge will be minus del dot P, and P is nothing but Kr, and plus of R we will write x, y and z. So it will give you 1, 1, 1 after taking the divergence. So this will be minus 3k. Now you have the volume bound charge density. So you can find the total bound charge, means volume bound charge. That will be rho b d tau, and this dx, dy, dz, that will be your volume element. This will give you a cube here. So minus 3k a cube. So this will be your, means this is your volume bound charge. Now total bound charge must be 0, so you can find the directly surface bound charge, that will be plus of this. So you can directly write. Now let's see if it is asked in the question that find the surface bound charge for this particular surface, that is, so center is, means at the center it is, so it is half this side, half this side, so it is x by 2. So if this complete length is a, then this length up to this will be a by 2. So we need to find for this surface. So means surface bound charge we need to find. So at x equal to a by 2, what will be the surface bound charge density? That will be p dot x cap, because for this surface direction will be x cap, and p dot x cap will give you kx, because p is this, so x will give you this. So it will be kx, in place of x just write the a by 2. It will be k by 2, and this is your volume surface bound charge density. Multiply the surface area of this surface will be a square. This will give you ka cube by 2. Now similarly you can find for the minus a by 2, for the x equal to minus a by 2. This will again give you minus kx here, and in place of x you will write minus a by 2. This will again give you the same charge. So that will be ka cube by 2, and this is also be ka cube by 2, and this is charge. And the surface bound charge density will be this ka by 2, and charge will be same. So see, if you multiply this, means each surface will give you the same value. Multiply 6 with this, it will give you 3 ka cube. So that is the same value as you are getting here. So let's move to the new topic, that is electric field displacement vector. So this is Gauss law in presence of polarized dielectric. So pay attention here, because this topic is a little bit tricky. So you must remember the differential form of Gauss law, that is del dot E equal to rho by epsilon. Now see, if we have a dielectric material, means in the normal structure we have the Gauss law, that is total bound charge, but this time we have electric field due to the bound charges and the external electric field, means or the external charge. So if the charge is placed inside the dielectric medium, the electric field due to this charge will create a polarized dielectric, means it will polarize this and create some bound charges. So net electric field will vary, means up till here we calculate the electric field due to the bound charges, but now we have to calculate the total electric field. So according to the Gauss law, del dot equal to rho by epsilon. Now this charge density is nothing but bound charge density plus free charge density. Means if you take inside this some sphere here, then the total charge density will be bound charge plus this free charge. So this will give you your total Gauss law. Means if you take the outside, then total bound charge density will be 0. It will be simply free charge. But for inside, this will be your case. Now see, we know how to find the bound charge density for this particular sphere, that is of radius r. So that is nothing but minus del dot p if polarization is given, because of this charge the polarization will take place inside this sphere. So it will be minus del dot p plus rho f, that is free charge. Now take this side, means epsilon will go this way, epsilon e, and this will be like this. Take the divergence common, it will be epsilon e plus p equal to rho f. Now see this equation, in place of this we will write d, that is our displacement vector d. Now see, if d is equal to this, then take the integration to find a total charge here. This is the free charge density. So this will be like this, and this will give you total free charge enclosed inside this sphere. Now see what this d indicates. It is something like a d field, means just like you have E field in the Gauss law, and you see that total E field is depending on the charge enclosed. Same here we are getting some expression that d is depending on the charge enclosed, free charge enclosed. But see, to put means d and E equal putting, for that this d must satisfy the conditions E satisfied. Means we know for the E, that is del cross E is equal to 0. That's why we can write that E is depending on the free charge only, on a single charge. But to write this in this form also, to say that E and D are similar things, so this must satisfy this equation del cross D equal to 0. So let's check what del cross D gives us. So del cross D equal to epsilon del cross E, means in place of D we will write this epsilon E plus P, so it will be del cross P. Now this is 0, but see del cross P is not 0 in general. That's why we can't say that this D is, means this equation is not valid for the, means it is valid, but it is not depending only on the free charge. Okay, it is valid means only depending on the free charge when this del cross P is 0. So when there is particular symmetry of the structure, then this del cross P becomes 0 and this equation becomes valid. So only that case is important to us. In particular symmetry, if Q enclosed is given, we can find D. Means in a particular symmetry, this will del cross P will become 0 and del cross D will give you 0. So this can be written, means D is depending on the free charge only. So you can find the D vector. So let's take the cases. Means when this del cross P is not equal to 0, then no Coulomb law can be written, no potential for D can be written, because then this equation will not be a very much valid thing. So let's discuss the symmetry thing. If del cross D is 0, if this condition satisfied, that means del cross P must be 0. The source of D is only rho f. Then the source will only the free charge. Means for the D, it will be only the free charge which is the source. So you can find D only using the free charge only. If there is a particular symmetry, means if there is a particular symmetry, then del cross P must be 0. I already told you that only the symmetrical case can do this thing. Then and this is the condition, and it is given that free charge density is also 0. Then what becomes D? Means what happens to D? Then this D becomes 0, because this is depending on the free charge only. If this is 0, then D will be 0, and D equal to 0 means this epsilon E plus P must be 0. And from here we can find the total electric field, that is E will be minus P by epsilon naught. Now see, this formula is very much useful to us. In the last we discussed some questions, see, and we calculate the electric field. So see, in the question this P was given, and if you know that formula, that was minus P by epsilon, so it will be minus K by epsilon r. So we can just directly calculate this. So this was your answer. So you can directly calculate this electric field using that formula, because there is net means net free charge is 0 here, electric field is somewhere outside, that's why this dielectric become polarized. So there is no free charge here, that's why we can just apply this condition. And symmetry was also there, so we can apply this condition that del cross P is 0 and this free charge density is 0, and E will be minus P by epsilon, and we are getting the same answer. So that's why this equation is very useful to us. Now there is second case, that is linear dielectric material. Now see, this polarization depending on the electric field, we already know that electric field applied, then the dielectric material become polarized. So the proportionality constants are epsilon naught and the chi e. This is nothing but electrical susceptibility. This is our electrical susceptibility, and this is our permittivity of free space. Then you can just here write D is equal to, so we know D is epsilon E plus P, so in place of P you can just write this. So depending on the 1 power of E, that's why we call it as linear dielectric material. So normally it can be higher powers also, but when there is power is only 1, then we call it as linear dielectric material. And chi is electrical susceptibility, so D can be written in this form. Now take the E and epsilon common, it will give you 1 plus chi E, and this 1 plus chi can be written as epsilon R, and this is, now this whole term can be written as epsilon. So this epsilon R is nothing but relative permittivity, and this is also called the dielectric constant of the particular dielectric material. So from here epsilon will be equal to epsilon naught and epsilon R, where epsilon R is nothing but 1 plus chi, and this is relative permittivity, dielectric constant. I already told you these things, so just remember this thing. So let's see what is the use of this. Now see, this this displacement vector D is equal to epsilon E. So let's take the use of this equation. How can we do that? Now there is homogeneous linear dielectric. Chi means what are homogeneous linear dielectric? So these are those where the means susceptibility is depending on the, means P is depending on the E only, and the susceptibility chi E does not vary with position. Means you have some dielectric material in that the polarization is depending on the 1 power of E, that is linear, and now this chi is not varying with the position, it is remain constant throughout the surface or the volume. Then we call it as homogeneous linear dielectric. So when this is the condition, then D is equal to epsilon naught 1 plus chi E. We know this, and there is symmetry. So del cross D must be equal to 0. Then if this is a condition, then del dot V will be equal to rho f. Means of course if this chi e is constant, then epsilon naught 1 plus chi e and e, then the curl of this d will give you 0 definitely, because this is homogeneous. Now see, if this is the condition, then this must satisfy del dot, means this is the condition we know. And now the d is depending on the, because of this condition, this d is depending on the free charge only. So we can write d in this form, epsilon naught e vacuum, because here we know this condition d equal to epsilon e. So you can just write it as epsilon naught e vacuum, because this is depending on the free charge, and in the free charge can be taken in the vacuum also, and the vacuum, the epsilon value is epsilon naught. So field due to free charges will be equal to this, means we are assuming there is no dielectric. So then d will be given by epsilon naught e vacuum. So we already find the d vector, and that is independent of the bound charges, and this is depending on the free charge only. So now we have the d vector. Now we can find the total electric field inside the dielectric medium using this relation again. E will be d by epsilon. Now in place of d we can just write this formula, because we already calculated the d vector. This will remain same. So this is depending on the free charge only, that's why I write this. So always remember. So now this is epsilon naught E vacuum divided by epsilon, nothing but epsilon naught epsilon R. Now this epsilon R is for a particular dielectric medium. This will cancel out. This will give you E vacuum divided by epsilon R. So electric field inside the dielectric medium is given by E vacuum, means the electric field due to the free charges, and assuming there is no dielectric, and divided by the dielectric constant of that material. So this will give you a total electric field inside the dielectric medium due to the, means complete electric field will give you. So let's say this is your homogeneous material and there is some free charge inside. So the electric field inside this structure or dielectric material will be given by 1 upon epsilon r, the dielectric constant, and then assume there is no dielectric material, and the electric field due to this charge will be q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. So this will give you your total electric field. Must remember this formula. Let's take an example based on this. A metal sphere of radius a carries a charge q. So here there is a metal sphere which carries a charge q, and this radius is a. It is surrounded out to radius b by a linear dielectric material. Now this is surrounded to the radius b from the center by a dielectric material. So this is the dielectric material surrounding this sphere by linear dielectric material of permittivity epsilon. So permittivity of this material is epsilon. We need to find the potential at the center and electrostatic energy. So first, this is a symmetrical structure. So this means d dot dA is depending on the free charge only, and this equation will be valid. Now first find the d. First we need to find the d, then we can find the electric field, and we can find the potential then. So d multiplied by 4 pi r square will give you total charge enclosed. So see, let's take we need to find the electric field here, or the potential here in this dielectric material. So let's consider a sphere here of radius r. Then d will be given by d to 4 pi r square. So here the sphere radius is r. So d to 4 pi r square, and equal to total free charge. Now you don't need to calculate the bound charge and all, because this equation is valid for the free charge only, means this is depending on the free charge d. So free charge on this sphere is q. So in this sphere, inside the total charge, free charge will be q. So you just write it equal to q. So d2 will be q by 4 pi r square r cap. So now you have the d2 vector, so you can calculate the electric field in every region. So in this first region, this is a conductor, so that's why the electric field will be 0 inside, and the total q charge is not inside, because this is conductor, so it will lie on the surface of the sphere, and this electric field inside E1 will be 0, and E3 will be 0. Now you need to, means E3 is not 0 actually, because there is total charge inside, that is capital Q, and this is normally you can find this due to the using the Gauss law, and this is dielectric, total bound charge will be 0, so total electric field will be due to this q charge only. So let's see how can we find. So in the second region, first electric field is 0, so find the electric field in the second region using the equation. E2 is nothing but d2 by epsilon for this material, so we just write d2 here, that is q by 4 pi r square, and divide by epsilon. So this will be your electric field in the second region. Now in the third region, it will be q by 4 pi r square, simply means d is this will remain same, dielectric means d displacement vector is not changing, and this is the equation. Now in this outer space there is no dielectric material, so the means permittivity will be epsilon naught E3, so E3 will be d3 by epsilon naught, and d3 is this q by 4 pi square and epsilon naught r square. So this is the same result as we get for the q charge outside. So E3 will be this. Now we have the electric field, so we can find the potential. Potential is simply minus infinity to b, and b to a and a to 0, means E dot dl. So this will be your formula to find the potential at the center. minus infinity to b minus E3 dot dl minus b to a E2 dot dl minus a to 0 E1 dot dl, and this E1 is 0, so we just substitute value of E3 and E2 we have find it, and this is just the integration for the limit infinity to b. This will give you this and this will give you this. So this is your potential at the center. Now we'll discuss electrostatic energy in the next lecture. So that's it for today. Thank you everyone.